Day 2 of Broncos Training Camp is in the books. I'm here with the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. Steve, quarterback day here. We heard from all three quarterbacks, Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham. Out on the field, it was a Jarrett Stidham day as he ran with the ones. But, Steve, I thought overall, as we're out here on this back together Saturday, the quarterbacks I thought took a step forward, looked pretty good. Each of them had their moments where they made some plays. And as these guys got going, you saw a pass from Zach Wilson to Troy Franklin in the end zone. You saw Jarrett Stidham to Cortland Sutton in the end zone. You saw in team period Bo Nix bounce back well and throw a couple of touchdown passes. So I think you're seeing encouraging progress. Steve, as you look at it, how have you seen these quarterbacks kind of take steps over the last few days? And it does feel like it always takes an offense going into training camp a little bit of time to get going, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the offense is normally a little bit behind the defense, and that's been the case here as well, just at least the first couple of days of the public practices. But the three of the quarterbacks, I do think that they each had a better day today, and I think that's probably how it's going to be. It's going to continue to get better as they put more in and they understand what they put in past days. It's just going to get better and better throughout camp.
Yeah, I think, Steve, that's a good point. These guys are all still relatively young. I know Zach Wilson has started 33 career games, but they're all young guys. Might be gradual progress. You might see them take kind of step-by-step, get better, step-by-step improvement. And certainly whenever the team does name a starter at whatever point, then you expect to see that person, I think, make some more strides, and that's when you really get ready for the regular season. But for now, Steve, I think some encouraging signs, again, whether it was Stidham finding some success, some quick completions. There was one to Brandon Johnson that was good. Zach Wilson, late in red zone work, I thought did a nice job. In general, in the red zone, what's the key to have success down there, do you think?
Well, first off, guys, got to be on the same page. You know that the play may develop a little quicker than a play that's, say, in midfield or if you're in your own territory. And guys got to be ready to make a play because you never know. That first play right off the bat could be the play that's going to, score that touchdown for you and or get the first down. And, so you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, we saw a lot of red zone work, Steve, on this Saturday, both kind of from the high red zone, tight red zone. Sean Payton said after practice, it kind of tests your knowledge of the offense. Also said they got to be way better there this year than they were last year. So nice to see them practice that. Obviously, the defense, Steve, still made some plays. Levi Wallace had an interception, the first one at training camp. I do want to transition from that to talking a little bit about Bo and quarterbacks in general, just how they bounce back. We saw Bo throw that interception. He said after practice, you got to approach it just like a touchdown, move on to the next play. And he really did move on, came back with some nice completions. David Sills won a nice kind of in-the-bucket throw to Javonte Williams for a score. And then late in red zone work, kind of down in that tight area, he had a couple more touchdown throws as well. So he bounced back really well. I guess how encouraged were you to see that from him? But then also just kind of speaking generally, how important is it for a quarterback to be able to do that?
Yeah, it's extremely important. And it's crazy because quarterbacks normally are throwing to receivers who are going against cornerbacks who have to have that same mentality that, hey, you make a mistake, you got to get rid of it. Forget it. And you got to come right back and have a good play for your team, for the offense in terms of quarterbacks and for cornerbacks for the defense. So Bo Nix has shown that throughout his college career that, hey, if he throws an interception, he's not going to throw 2, 3, 4 picks in a game. It may be 1, maybe 2 at the most, but and that's a good trait for a quarterback to have, to be aware that, hey, I'm protecting the ball and making sure that I'm throwing it where it's supposed to be, not where someone else can catch the ball. And he's been very impressive in that regard.
Yeah, I thought the first few days of camp he's done a good job of keeping the ball out of harm's way, putting the ball places where only his guy can get it. Obviously not going to be perfect. There was the one today, but I think to have that maturity to bounce back showed a lot and not get rattled by your first NFL interception.
Yeah,
so
I don't think
it's a good sign.
Him being a rookie, I don't think that rattles him. I don't think he's like, oh man, this is too big for me. I think he feels like he's supposed to be here, and he feels like he's in a great position to become hopefully the starting quarterback at some point throughout the season.
Yeah, certainly. And as he said after practice, all three guys feel like they should be that guy. All three guys have that confidence. So fun to watch that competition play out. Steve, one other guy that stood out to both of us, I think, today was Tim Patrick. And Sean Payton said the other day, I don't have to see it every day. I don't have to see the vintage Tim Patrick every single practice, but I need to see it sometimes. felt to me like today was one of those days. He had a nice one-handed catch, had a good catch along the sideline. He got both feet in bounds. That's kind of the Tim Patrick that the Broncos hope they get this year, right?
Yeah. I mean, we saw him a few years ago when he got onto the scene and was able to get a contract extension. And, they want him to be here. Not only does he provide the ball skills, the toughness, the mental toughness, and the leadership, but he also provides the leadership, and somebody that the young guys can look up to. He and Cortland. And Marvin Mims, he's still young now. I would imagine he's still taking some tips from both Cortland and Tim. But it's just it's good to have guys in the room who you can count on.
Yeah, and Tim, he's got that dog to him too.
Oh yeah, he'll talk a little noise to you. So DBs, y'all,
watch out.
Be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah, and I wonder if he talked at all today, but it was fun to watch him out there. Steve did get a little bit of good news on the injury on the injury front. Caden Stearns was back out at practice. Yeah. He's off PUP, and Brandon Jones gonna miss a week or two with the hamstring injury, but obviously good news that it's not more serious. So. We're through the first stretch, Steve, off day, and then we'll be back. We'll be in pads. We'll be ready to go.
Man, pads.
You excited?
Can you imagine? I'm super excited because now, once you get in the pads, now you know who the real players are. Before you put on the pads, you can kind of fool people. But
not anymore.
Not anymore.
And that's when Steve Atwater would have thrived. We will be here back on Monday to break down everything that happens on day 3 of training camp. But for now, for the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater, I'm Aric DiLalla.